For those that are avid video game players or enthusiasts, as you should see me, I got like a little robe on. Got this gray robe that I bought from this very prestigious place called Target, and just me sitting here like with my legs crossed, saying, things like video game enthusiasts makes me feel like a loser. For those that play video games as much as I do, one of the best feelings is discovering like a hidden gem, right? A game that like in some cases you heard vaguely about, and in other cases you had never heard of the game before at all. And in this particular example that I'm giving out, or what I'm talking about, it would be the latter, right? I've never heard of this game before a day in my life. It's called Stalcraft. Now, I know there's people out there, or one person out there who's listening to this, and it's probably like, you're fucking casual, Danny. This game has been out for a while, and you need to play more video games and fry your brain some more, which is hard to do because my brain's already fucked. So I am pleasantly surprised. I really mean that. Like, picking up and playing this game, the question that I ask myself, maybe because I'm a casual and I don't know if there's other games like this, but the number one question that just permeates my brain. Did I use that word right? Permeate? It's the robe, man. This robe is magical. It's just making me feel fucking intellectual as fuck. The number one question that pops in my mind when I'm playing StarCraft is like, why isn't there any more mainstream games like this? Right? And mainstream, that's the key word here. Now, mind you, I love the fact that this is a smaller game that not a lot of people know of, because I do feel like weird things happen when games get more known and get more popular. Like, I feel like developers tend to lean to the side to placate their audiences. They tend to satisfy their audiences, and then next thing you know, if, for example, StarCraft was to become major, right? Like, everyone knows about Stalcraft, sorry. Uh, which by the way, that name is it's not the greatest. I'm not gonna lie. It's not one of the biggest strengths of this game. Stalcraft. It's a mixture of Stalker and Minecraft. Stalcraft. I feel like you could have done a little better. But I'm just teasing. The game's awesome, and I'll get more into that. But losing my complete train of thought. What the hell was I talking about? I can't remember. But it's good to know that when you stumble upon a game where you don't really have great expectations, like for example, this is a free to play game. So that already comes with a stigma, right? Free to play games, you're gonna fire them up already kind of like defeated. You're already a little depressed and deflated before you even install the game. You're like, oh Lord, here I am. I'm playing a free to play game. At least this is the way I think, and I'm pretty sure a few of you guys do too, right? Free to play games almost leave a bad taste in your mouth for gamers. Why? Why? I'll tell you why. Microtransactions, right? Because these games were built around microtransactions, right? You're playing the game, and sometimes it's so shameless that within the login screen, they're like, hey, here, buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. And then you're playing the game 5 minutes later. Hey, listen, you look like you need some help. You want to buy this to help you? And then the in-game currencies are so convoluted, and there's so many, and there's like, pay to play, hiding the completion of the game behind a paywall. Disgusting, right? Everyone hates that shit. You don't even have to be a gamer. And if you've never played a video game in your life, and I sat down and I explained to you the premise of microtransactions and pay to win, and you would be like, ill. You know what I mean? At least the average person will. So I kind of was expecting that with StarCraft, for it being a free game and all. I didn't expect that to be that egregious, because I was reading some reviews, and overall it's pretty positive. You have a lot of people who have some valid complaints, and then a lot of them don't. But that's any game. Any game, I go through the comments, and they're funny as hell. First of all, that's one of the major reasons I love reading it. But also to see if anybody agrees with my sentiments, right? Like, do they feel the way I do about this game or whatever? And a lot of the times, man, it's hard for me because we all come from different backgrounds of life, right? Like, I don't, for me specifically, Danny, I cannot understand I'm lying. I could understand. I just don't agree with it. Why somebody would take the time to log in online, make an account, and then write some nasty ass shit on online, like on a review for a video game. And I'm talking about Steam reviews specifically. Like some of these, and then the ones who just like downvote a game or give it a negative review, and they don't even specify. They'll just write things like "game bad," which I will admit slightly funny, but also very annoying because that still gets absorbed into the algorithm, right? Of negativity. So like if this game is overwhelmingly negative, let's say there's 100 people, just for the sake of a simple number, right? Let's say there's 100 people, 100 negative reviews for a particular game, right? And 70 of those were unclear, just not informing anybody as to why they're negatively reviewing this game. It's just this game's bad, or I don't like this controls, or well, even that is kind of understandable because at least you named the reason. But there's lots of reviews that I read that there ain't no reasons involved. It's just I don't like this game. One guy wrote this long paragraph on Stalcraft. I think it was on Reddit though. It wasn't really a negative review, but it definitely was a knock against the game, saying like after 150 hours or something like that. No, I'm sorry. After 1,130 hours. I think that's the actual number. But it was up in the thousands. He's been playing this game since launch. He just wrote this long thread about how, I can't play this anymore. And I'm like, bro, you've played this for like half your life. I don't understand these reviews from people who play a game for 1,000 hours and then they go, I don't like it. It sounds like you fucking liked it, Bobby. You played it for 1,000 something hours. Like, yes, it's possible for you to not like the recent updates, the things that they've been doing with the game recently, especially if you've been playing a game for that long, right? I didn't understand. I didn't know that StarCraft was out for quite a while because since I just discovered it on the Steam store, but apparently it's been around for a couple years now. And it shows because I'll get more into it, but right now I'm bitching. So let me bitch, all right? Let me bitch. Did I mention I got this little robe on from all right. I don't understand it. At the end of the day, sorry, once again, I understand it. I just don't agree with it. I got to really emphasize that because I can see it's so easy to just write something disgusting because there's no consequences, right? No one's going to come after you for being a complete asshole online. It's not illegal. So it's like, okay, if I can do it and I can get away with it, I'll do it. You know what I mean? It's like that kid, that little asshole kid who's trick or treating and they pass by the cool people's house. There's always a cool person, a cool family that's really nice in the neighborhood, right? And they have like this fake plastic jack-o'-lantern filled with candies and a sign on the top of the jack-o'-lantern that says, "Please take one candy." There's gonna be asshole kids out there that are gonna go, "Yeah, no one's watching, bro. Guess what? 7 handfuls of candy inside of your bag." I feel like those assholes grow up and they leave negative Steam reviews. That's what I think. Take a sip of this. It's wild because this game originally started off as a mod for Minecraft, to my knowledge, doing some research on this. So I guess the creators, the developers of this game, to be honest with you, it's kind of unclear. I don't know if the guys who developed StarCraft, because once again, it's a mixture of Stalker, which I've never played, but of course, it's the granddaddy of all like Eastern Russian shooter type games, right? It birthed so many awesome games, and also it's like the Dark Souls thing that's going on right now, right? Like Dark Souls made his debut, and then now every fucking game is Dark Souls. Like, is it a little annoying? I hate to use the word exhausting because that sounds so like when I think of exhaustion, I think of like physical exhaustion. But yes, I understand there is mental exhaustion too. I felt that shit, especially in my job some days where you're just mentally exhausted. That's a thing. But it just sounds I don't know. It sounds like I'm being naggy and bitchy. It's so exhausting. That's I can just picture someone with that same voice tone saying that. Whatever. Point is, it's it's annoying when I see the market being flooded with clones of popular games, influences, rip-offs. You choose the word, but they're pretty much the same thing if you think about it. Excuse me. So, because of Stalker, so many influences have been made, right? Like, Jesus, where do I start? I think DayZ was also which is one of the most popular type of Eastern shooter. I don't know what the fuck is DayZ's a psycho simulator. I always say that. That's the game. DayZ's a psycho simulator. Anyways, the influences of popular games can be felt throughout the video game industry for sometimes decades. Not decades, but long time, at least a decade or so. Longer than that. Metroidvania. Look at the category of Metroidvania. Metroid came out, God, 80s maybe, early 90s, and it's still being made today. There's still lots of indie games that do Metroidvania type games. Metroid being as in Metroid the actual video game, Metroid and Castlevania. The Vania part being Castlevania from Symphony of the Night, one of the best games ever created. It's weird that Stalcraft was a mod for Minecraft, and then they said, "Hey, we like Minecraft, but what if we brought Stalker to Minecraft?" Now, like I was saying earlier, it's unclear to me whether the creators of Stalcraft actually invented the mod for Minecraft that turned Minecraft into Stalker, or they kind of just someone else invented it and they kind of just took that idea and made it into their own video game called Stalcraft, which is an MMO, which once again, the question pops in my mind, why isn't there more games like this? This is such a fantastic formula. Stalker, to my knowledge, I've never played it. I haven't heard about it till recently. Remember, I'm still like a PC newbie for the most part. I'm still trying to, understand the culture and, I'm not leaving, that's for sure. Like I can never see myself going back to console. Or I'm kicking myself in the ass because why did I play consoles for so long? Not a knock against consoles. Consoles are cool too, man. I'm not one of those elitists. You know what I mean? I get it. They're accessible, they're quick, they're literally plug and play. You don't have to worry about configurations. You don't have to worry about expensive graphics cards or upscaling technologies or you know MSRPs of CPUs. You don't have to worry about this complicated world of PC gaming. You literally just buy a gaming system, plug that shit in, and you're ready to roll. I personally like more control in my life. That's why I'm playing PC. Plus, PC is better in every way. So now that StarCraft it's its own thing. It's weird that it's derived from a already popular video game, Minecraft or whatever, and they kind of just stuck Minecraft and Stalker together. Here we are. Now it's MMO. Now, it's weird to me because like you see some of the cutscenes. First of all, there's the voice acting is actually pretty good, which is weird to me, right? Like now we'll talk. Now we get to the juicy part, right? The actual video games, because I fucking talk way too much about shit that's not the actual video game. I actually just talk about. All right, give me a second. So with StarCraft, I was surprised at how decent the voice acting was, right? Even like I don't even understand Russian, but it sounds cool. But there's a lot of English voice lines also. And I'm like, those are done well too. And I'm just like, wow, this is supposed to be a uh, almost kiddish. Like for example, me and my friend are playing this now, and both of our impressions were the same. We both were like, all right, well, let's try it, let's play it and see what's up. And then, three people played it actually. Me and my friend, and then she got her brother to play with us. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it at all. He says he doesn't like the graphics. But then again, he's kind of stubborn. I feel like he barely passed the tutorial. He hasn't even grouped up with us yet to do missions. So he has not given the game a fair shake. But I'm convinced that once he does, he'll like the game a lot more. But we got to get him there. We got to like kidnap him and fucking force his eyes open like what's his name? Like Alex from Clockwork Orange when they were just fucking taped his eyes or whatever. They don't force him to watch a movie. she got the impression that it was like a he got the impression that it was like a Legos game. He was like, this is like a fucking Legos game. And I was like, yeah, it kind of does look like it, especially that cutscene particularly. But then you get shot in the head, Fallout 76 style, and I was like, holy shit. And then you read some of the dialogue, and it's like they're using words like fuck and pussy, and I'm just like, it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so good. They're like these Russians, man. They're like, I don't know. They're still tough people who are like immune. Well, at least from what I see, they're like immune to the sensitivity that is currently applied to this world. I'm trying to be careful with my words here, man, because I'm trying to avoid that big old W word, that big old W word that's spelled out like WOKE, but we won't say the word. We'll just spell it out. But there's a lot of things that are said in the dialogue, nothing super controversial, but they're like, Russia is like, fuck that. This is how we do it. You get offended, you get offended. That's the vibe I get. I love that. I love people who stick to their guns. There's just something, I don't know, romantic about that to me. Like, I'm just like, that's so cool. Like, that people have the balls to do that. That's real bravery to me, because nowadays anything is brave, right? A dude could just walk up on a stage and wear a dress, and everyone's like, "He's fucking brave. He's the bravest man alive, or woman." All right, look, I'm getting too into it. We're not gonna get into that. That's a fucking deep hole. But we're playing a game, and he thinks it's a Legos game. She's like, oh, this is like fun. It's silly. It's like a cartoonish game. And I thought, like, what the fuck is this? Because I never really played Minecraft. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, the guys are running around, these soldiers. It's like such a serious theme. Stalcraft, like the music is serious, the atmosphere is serious. You're running around with guns that sound real, reload real. Like, the shooting is pretty fucking impressive for like an MMO, which is, once again, I'll say it again, and I'll say it a million times. How is the formula for Stalker not made into MMOs by other companies more often? Like, the formula that Stalcraft has it's so impressive. It's so fun. And I'm like, why isn't like they copy Dark Souls shit all the time. They copy Stalker shit all the time. They copy Minecraft all the time. How many games are like Minecraft, Roblox, and you fucking name it? There's so many. But why isn't there nobody copying MMOs turned Stalkers turned into MMOs? Like, why isn't that like, after playing StarCraft, I can't shake that question out of my head. Like, this is so fun and such a great idea. And this is coming from someone who is not big on PvP. I'm a big PvE guy. I don't have a major problem with PvE. I do have a problem. Sorry. I don't have a major problem with PvP, right? But I do have a problem with PvP. And it's just that I feel like A is shallow. PvP is fun for just a while. For me, once again, I can't explain. I don't know how someone can main games like Call of Duty or like Apex Legends or Overwatch. Like, I don't know how you can just sit there and just continuously do matches and that's your main game. Like, you don't play no other game where there's no exploration, no sense of progress, no detailed storylines, no Easter eggs. It's just you get dropped in a sandbox, you kill each other, you respawn. Dropped in a sandbox, kill each other, respawn. Like, I feel like that loop is so satisfying for an hour. After that, it's like, all right, I'm sick of this. I want to actually make some sort of a progress in a video game. I understand not everyone's like this, and I'm not telling anyone to be like me. But I know there's lots of like-minded individuals in my corner, and there's lots of like-minded individuals in the PvP corner. As a matter of fact, there's more people who enjoy PvP than PvEers like me. Look at the Steam charts, for example. Counter Strike, Call of Duty, all these, they dominate the top 10s. There are way more PvP games dominating the top 10 than PvE games. Makes me kind of sad because I'm on Team PvE, but I get it. I get the allure of a PvP game. I just don't understand the staying power. I really don't. Like, for reasons that I just explained in detail, at least. So I'm not a big fan of PvP, but StarCraft does have PvP. It's not it's forced too, by the way, right? Like as soon as you step out of a safe zone, it's on, right? But and it's hit or miss. When I say hit or miss, for the most part, I like it. I like the fact that you have to be on your P's and Q's. There's this system. Excuse me. There's this system. What's the name of these developers, by the way? I know it starts with a R, man. Give me a second. It's not a R, man. It's Expo. EXBO. Well, anyways, Expo has this system where you get kind of grouped in PvP, like people who you PvP with are around your level with the same gear, or at least with the same gear. So it gives you a fighting chance. Like both of you guys are kind of equal in power. It's not a perfect system. Sometimes you will get OP players who are, light years ahead of you, just grief killing you. Because that's what happened to me at one time. As I played this game for quite a while now, a few hours, not a long time. I'll tell you exactly how many hours now. 16.3. So, and I am going to play this game for a little longer. Like, I really like this. But anyways, I've been playing this game for close to 17 hours, and there's only been one session where I was trying to farm some materials for a mission, and there were some bandits that were pretty high level, and they were just fucking killing us. But you know how I got over that, and I'm not even trying to be smart. I'm not even trying to be a smart ass. I really mean this. I didn't take it seriously because I remember telling my friend, she was actually over my place, and we were both talking, and I told her, I said, this game has forced PvP, but it also has a lot of PvE elements. This is something I usually don't play, but lately I've been in this whole shooter type era. I'm in my shooter era. All right. I don't know why I just said that. I regret it instantly. So I said, fuck it, let's go. Let's do it. And what was I going? Oh yeah. So my mentality was like, I'm not gonna take it serious if I die. I'm actually ready. I'm ready to die. And that mentality, fucking, I don't know what happened. It's like something clicked in my mind. Mind you, once again, I have to reiterate that I am not a PvP guy. So for me to even download a PvP game, or at least a game that one of its main focuses is PvP, that's a rarity for me. So I was like, okay, let me just take this chance. And my first encounter with a player, did I die? Yes, he killed me. He was with his other bandit buddies. I didn't get mad. I was like, you know what? This is I asked for this. I asked for this. And then the second time that fucker was like hiding in the bushes, I think he ran out of bullets. And I just went up to him and I knifed the shit out of him and I killed him, and that was satisfying because I finally killed my first player. So since then I've killed a few players. I'm proud of myself. I've caught a few players completely off guard. I've fucking caught players while they were questing. I feel bad. Well, I'm not a regular PvP guy, so when I kill these players, I'm like, sometimes I loot their bodies and they got like items, like starter items, and I'm like, I killed this, killed a newbie. I feel bad about it. This is digital pussy. That's what I am. But I don't know. It just makes me feel bad. But then I suck it up and I go like, he would have killed me too. You know. At least that's what I tell myself. It's fucking in denial and process and progress. So we both originally thought this game was meant for like kids because it had like this Minecrafty Lego-ish type thing, but it's not. It's like these serious overtones. It has profanity, has lots of violence. Obviously, it involves guns, blood. Not overly gory, but definitely some blood. And it's not for kids. It's complicated. There's mad modifications to be done. There's lots of typical MMO affair. You can get daily rewards. You can PvP. You can quest. There's a storyline. There's lots of players playing at the same time. You guys can grew up. There's a crew up. You guys can farm for materials. Everything that an average MMO has, this game has. And it's amazing. It's amazing that, like, when you think of an MMO, the first thing that pops in your mind is fantasy, right? Like, World of Warcraft, New World, ESO Online, Guild Wars. Like, those are the ones that are dominating the MMO markets. But you don't think of, when someone says MMO, you don't think of like these sweaty Slavic men. that look like Minecraft characters running around shooting each other in a depressing radioactive world with mutants and other players trying to kill you. Like, what the fuck? You know, like it sounds like I just described like an 80s movie right now, but it's an MMO. It's wild to me, man. And if there is other MMOs in it that are like this that I haven't heard about, and if anyone is listening to this out there, man, write that shit down somewhere, man, in the comments or slam that like button. Make sure you subscribe. You don't have to do any of that. But it would be nice because like I said, I am kind of a newbie, relatively new to PC gaming. So there's probably games like this all over the place that are not on the Steam store that I don't know anything about. But I try not to get into a deep dive because there's just last I heard it was like over 30,000 games on Steam. Right? I read this in some sort of an article. Probably more than that. Right? Well, obviously I said it's over 30,000. I can't imagine on other platforms, right? Other platforms, there's even more games, and not to mention independent. I'm sure there's websites out there that have their own particular game, not on any type of store or marketplace. It's on their actual webpage, like Escape from Tarkov, right? As far as I know, you can only play Escape from Tarkov from their servers on their pages, on their page. Battle Spire games, Battle State games. Maybe I got that wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of Stalker. But anyways, the developers of Escape from Tarkov, as far as I know, they have their game isn't on any other marketplace aside from their own personal webpage or whatever. But the story for Stalcraft is I haven't finished it, but I remember kind of dabbing into it, like the lore, and I was like, this lore is actually above average. Like I would say it's like a 7. And from what I hear people online, they're like, hey man, this is actually a pretty good story. One dude said he even loved it. And I was just reading up on it, and at first I was like, okay, it has some fantasy elements, like mutants and this particular artifact that can cure any disease, and so there is fantasy involved, but it's very low. It's very low grade fantasy, and well, not low grade. That sounds like I'm like a derogatory term, right? I meant like it's low level fine. That sounds even worse. It's like low fantasy, meaning like there's you don't see flying dragons and stuff like that. As far as I know, not yet at least. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some weird mutant flying dragon in the end game or whatever. But I don't know. I'm very pleasantly surprised with this game, and it's not to go back to what I originally was talking about. God knows how long ago about free to play. I was expecting microtransactions to just be prevalent all over this game, and they're not. They don't really force anything, which I love, right? Totally, you can go out there and buy these crates that can give you, I think, armor and weapons. I'm not sure exactly what they give you, to be honest. And there's also in-game currency. It is a free game. They're trying to make money. I have no problem with that. I've said this once and I'll say it again. I don't have a problem with microtransactions. I have a problem with the way microtransactions are used, right? So I feel like that with pretty much anything in life, right? Like alcohol. I don't have a problem with alcohol. I have a problem with the way alcohol is used. Alcohol is fun if you use it the way it's intended socially, but if you're drinking every single day and, getting disrespectful and, your health is declining, then, probably should chill the fuck out. Microtransactions are the same thing. I don't have a problem with developers making extra money because, yeah, some of that money is going to go, maybe most of that money is just going to go to their little, you know, yacht or their little car. Well, not little car, but it's gonna go to a lot of luxurious shit so they can live a cool life. I don't have a problem with that neither. They should totally spend money on whatever the fuck they want. But of course, some of that money is also gonna go into the game. Hopefully, keyword hopefully, some of that money is gonna go into the improvement, updates in the game to further expand its player base. And I don't have a problem with microtransactions as long as they're done well. If they're not in your face all the time, if you don't put the game behind a paywall where you actually need to pay to advance. Uh, if you want to add elements to further to quicken your gameplay, right? Yes, it cheapens the quality. Like for example, I'll give you an example. Neverwinter. Neverwinter is an awesome MMO. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Haven't played it in a while, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. last time I played Neverwinter, I believe there was an option where you can instantly level up your character to like level 100 or something like that by paying for it. That's cheap. I'm being honest. Hey man, you don't have to do it. It's purely optional, which is great, but it's kind of cheap. Like I don't, I, I don't know. I feel like you should grind the old school way. Just go fucking. Then again, I am an old man, so of course I would say something like that in my robe. So I do believe that that it cheapens the gameplay, and it's you're gonna have people who are just like, I don't feel like grinding, so they're just gonna buy a character and just level the character up instantly, and it's just like, oh man, like you just missed literally the main reason why you should be playing an MMO, and that's the journey, grinding up your character from level 1 to level 50, level 100, whatever the cap is, or close to the cap is. That's the whole purpose of playing an MMO, right? The journey, the grinding, the fun. And you just skipped all that and just instantly got the prize. You instantly got the experience, and I don't know. I don't jive with that. I'm not crazy. I don't vibe with that. Maybe that's a better word, right? Vibe. Jive sounds fucking 70ish. Vibe sounds more like what the cool kids say, because that's what I am, a cool kid, in case you didn't know. So I'm about to wrap this up, but I will say that there's nothing overwhelmingly terrible about this game. That should be their tagline. Stalcraft. There's nothing overwhelmingly negative about this game or terrible about this game. I think this game is the definition of a hidden gem, right? If I had to, honestly, the worst thing that I encountered so far in my close to 17 hours of gameplay, 17 hours ain't shit, but it's enough for me to give you a good review, though. If anyone has played a game for 17 hours, I can take their opinion on the game. I'll go, okay, well, you gave this game more than a fair shake. If somebody would have played the game for 10 hours, I would have been like, honestly, even five. If someone said, "Hey, I played this game for 5 hours and I don't recommend it," I'll be like, "Okay, I think you gave it a fair shake. I really do. Of course, some games you need more than 5 hours for it to open up and you truly enjoy it. But that's another point of controversy, right? Should you even wait 5 hours to enjoy a game? Shouldn't a game be enjoyed as soon as you play it? Like within the first hour, there should be some sort of an enjoyment. We can go back and forth on this, right? Or, should that enjoyment be delayed? Should it be like a delayed gratification? Like, hey man, you will enjoy this game, but you got to give it some time. You got to put in some hours into it. I don't know. But yeah, there's nothing overly egregious. The microtransactions, I like them. They're not in your face. They're optional. You can still play this game and finish it and have fun without paying a dime. Although I wouldn't recommend that. I believe that if you've dropped a high amount of hours, right? And I'm no angel. I've played games that were free to play that were pretty good, and I played them for a while, and I didn't really drop a lot of money into them. But typically, whenever I play a free to play game that I actually enjoy, which is hard to fucking find nowadays, but whenever I play a free to play game, I always try to support somehow, some way. Even if it's 5, 10, 15, $20, I try to throw in something. So in this game, if there's skins, I heard that there's skins. I'm not crazy about my character's face. He reminds me of like a childhood friend who was like 19, but he looked like he was 35. I wonder how he's doing. Good guy. Anyways, yeah, there's nothing. If I had to pick, the biggest complaint would be the whole Minecraft like animations and graphics. The graphics are a hit or miss for me because I feel like it's like a kind of got like a small identity crisis going on. Like at times the game looks semi-realistic. Some of the models of like pickled jars, pickled vegetables in a glass jar, for example, that's one of the assets in the video game. They look pretty realistic, and then you turn around and you see this square Minecraft guy looking at you. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like it kind of like I don't know what the game wants to be, kind of serious, but also Minecrafty. Music is the whole overtone of this game is serious as fuck. But then you have the little Minecraft characters with their little feet, their little tiny feet just dwindling in the air or whatever. And I'm just like, oh my god, what is this? Is this serious or is it not? Although I have to mention there is going to be an animations update this summer, from what I hear, and they're supposed to overhaul that. The combat is supposed to, sorry, the parkour and the jumping and the climbing and the actual walking animations, and also I think it's a third person view being included. As far as I know, there isn't a third person view included in uh, Stalcraft at the moment, but this summer there's going to be major changes, and I'm fucking welcoming that, 100% welcoming that. Like I don't like the running animations of Minecraft. Nothing against Minecraft. I've played Minecraft. I wasn't an avid Minecraft player, but I have played it, and it's fun. It's a fun game. It checks out. In case you haven't heard of a little game called Minecraft, probably not, right? A little obscure gem. So that's the noise an old man makes when he shifts positions in his chair. So that's literally the biggest problem I have. Just kind of a bit of an identity crisis going on whether it wants to be a serious looking game. I understand it was a mod from Minecraft, so it has to keep some of those elements, but I don't think it has to. And I think they noticing that, and that's one of the reasons why. This is my guess. They don't have to keep, just because it's a Minecraft mod doesn't mean that they have to remain a Minecraft mod. They can find their own identity, which I believe they have been over the years, because I've been seeing videos over the years how Stalcraft has changed. And now with this new animations update that's coming out this summer, they're smoothing out the running animations, the climbing animations, and as well as other things. And I'm like, okay, now it's developing into its own thing, and maybe sometime in the future, whether it's months, years, it'll be its own thing, and it'll be hard to even imagine that this was a mod from Minecraft. But overall, it's got pretty good reviews, and I agree. Like, it's you do see your regular naggy reviews, negative reviews, and then you see some negative reviews that are kind of truthful, like the PvP aspect of the game, which I truly like for someone who's a big PvE guy. Like, I do like the fact that once I'm out there, when you die, you don't necessarily lose all of your most valuable equipment, which would be like your guns, your armor. You lose all of your loot and your bullets and stuff like that. So it is a loss, but it's not a major loss. You can go, I can get all that again. Now, grinding for guns and stuff like that is a little more difficult. And of course, if you just grinded for a gun, you spent all this time and then you lost it because you got shot by, someone hiding in the bushes with a Mosin, then you're like, fuck, like, I kind of don't want to play this game. But that's not the case. The case is the most you lose is loot and bullets, which still sucks, but, for the most part, you can get all that shit back quickly. So I like that. It's not high stakes PvP, more like medium stakes PvP, but it's still forced, and for some people that they may have a problem, especially like that one time I told you I was trying to grind for resources at this particular area, but bandits, I'm in a group called the Stalkers, which is warring with the bandits. So I'm in this group called the Stalkers, and these bandits are kind of surrounding the perimeter of the area that I need to go into farm for resources, and they were grief killing people, and I was one of them. And I wasn't upset, but I was just like, damn, what can I do to finish this mission? I can't kill those guys. Eventually, they did that so long that a group of stalkers just kind of banded up and went after him, ended up killing them. So we ended up finishing that mission by going back into that area. And so that was kind of cool that they did that. They all kind of was just like, you know what, fuck that, let's go get him. It was like three or four of them against like two high level guys, I believe. That was cool. But I like that. I like the fact that it's forced PvP, even though I'm a PvE guy. It's just, it needs to be done right. I know that they have this little system that I said like earlier, where they kind of group people up that are of the same levels, and to make it even. And there's no glaring issues with this game, just small ones. Like me, some cosmetic issues, like the whole walking animation and all that. Like, I'm glad that they're getting rid of that. Thank you. I feel like this summer update needs to come sooner. But that's it. There's no big gameplay feels solid. Shooting feels pretty good, pretty skill based, meaning that, like, you need to be good to shoot. It ain't no auto aim or anything like that. Um Music is pretty, solid. It's like ambient music. It's nothing crazy or specific. I know that the radio can be a little annoying though, because it has a lot of this Russian music, and it's not annoying because it's Russian. It's annoying because it's in your ear as you're trying to shop. inside of the trader zones, and it's just blaring music in the side of your fucking ear, and I had to turn that off. I can't even concentrate. Yeah, man, it's just try it. 100. I recommend it 100%. I would give this game a solid 8 out of 10. No bullshit. And it's I'm only 17 hours in. Maybe that'll change as I approach end game and I'm getting slaughtered every 5 seconds, and then I'll be one of those guys that write the negative reviews like, "Oh, I finally get you guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This game fucking sucks." I don't think I'll be one of those guys. But who knows? End game could be 100% different from me. I'm still pretty much starting off or whatever. Anyways, man, I recommend it. I can't wait to see further development on this. And this is a game that's definitely going to stay in my library. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this in the future. Just like I'm keeping an eye on Scum. Scum is introducing NPCs in its next update, I believe. And I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. I can't wait to fight scabs or bandits out there. Armed AI. Hell yeah. All right, I'm out. See you guys.